Welcome 2013 One Dime to my YouTube channel. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? It sounds impossible, almost like one of those myths people tell but never actually prove, yet hidden among ordinary coins lies a story so shocking it has stunned collectors worldwide. Today, we're diving into the mysterious world of the 2013 P. Roosevelt dime, a coin that looks completely normal at first glance but has been rumored to carry a jaw-dropping value that could change someone's life forever. And here's the twist: this isn't some ancient relic or gold coin locked away in a museum. This is something that could have passed through your hands without you ever noticing. Now imagine the moment you realize that the dime you once used for a soda could have been worth an unbelievable $13 million. Yes, you heard that right, a single 2013 P dime, under the right conditions and with the right rare characteristics, has been estimated to reach values as high as $13 million in elite collector circles, and before you dismiss that as hype, stay with me because the deeper story behind this coin will make you question every piece of change you've ever handled, and trust me, you'll want to stay until the very end because later we'll also hint at another coin in this sequence that might be even more shocking in its rarity, but for now let's unravel how something so ordinary became so extraordinary. The 2013 P. Roosevelt dime was minted in Philadelphia, one of the most historically significant mints in the United States, producing millions upon millions of dimes every year, and on the surface, there is absolutely nothing special about it. It carries the familiar portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt, a design that has remained largely unchanged since 1946, symbolizing stability, tradition, and continuity, but as any seasoned collector will tell you, the real value of a coin is often hidden in the smallest details, the kind of details most people overlook entirely, and that's exactly where this story begins to take a fascinating turn. Around 2013, the U.S. Mint was operating at an incredibly high production pace, meeting the demands of circulation, but high volume often leads to small mistakes, and in the world of coin collecting, a mistake can be worth a fortune, and rumors began to circulate among collectors about a tiny batch of 2013 P dimes that exhibited an unusual minting anomaly. Some believed it was a rare double die error, while others insisted it involved an off-metal strike, where the coin was accidentally struck on a planchet intended for a different denomination or even a different metal composition altogether. And these types of errors are incredibly rare because quality control at the mint is extremely strict, meaning only a handful, if any, could have slipped through. Now imagine being one of the few people who unknowingly received such a coin in everyday change, perhaps from a grocery store or a vending machine, completely unaware that you were holding something collectors would later obsess over. And this is where the intrigue deepens because not all 2013 P dimes are valuable. In fact, the vast majority are worth exactly 10 cents. But the few that exhibit these rare characteristics, perfect storm combinations of minting error, pristine condition, and historical curiosity, are the ones that ignite bidding wars among elite collectors. There have been whispers in auction circles, private sales that never made headlines, and hushed conversations at coin shows where experts debated whether one particular 2013 P dime truly deserved its multi-million-dollar valuation, and while official public auction records don't always reflect such extreme numbers, the private collector market is a different world entirely, where rarity, demand, and story can drive prices far beyond expectations, and that's exactly what makes this coin so captivating. It's not just about metal, it's about mystery. And here's something that should make you pause for a second: How many times have you emptied your pockets at the end of the day without even glancing at the coins? How many dimes have you spent without a second thought? Because the truth is, one of these rare pieces could still be out there, quietly circulating, waiting for someone observant enough to notice the subtle differences, the slightly off design, the unusual weight, or the faint doubling that most people would ignore, and that's what fuels the obsession among collectors, the idea that treasure isn't always buried, sometimes it's simply overlooked. Now let's talk about why collectors are so fascinated with coins like the 2013 P dime, because it's not just about rarity, it's about the story behind it, the idea that a small mistake at a massive institution like the US Mint could create something unique, something that wasn't supposed to exist, and in a world where billions of coins are identical, uniqueness becomes priceless. And when you combine that with near-perfect condition, what collectors call mint state, or even proof-like quality, you're looking at a coin that stands out in a way that few others can. There are also reports, though difficult to verify publicly, of a specific 2013 P dime discovered by a casual coin roll hunter, someone who simply searched through bank rolls of coins as a hobby, and what they found shocked even experienced numismatists. The coin displayed an unusual strike sharpness combined with a subtle but undeniable doubling on the lettering, and when it was examined under magnification, experts realized they might be looking at something extremely rare, something that could redefine what collectors expected from modern coinage. And while the final sale price of that particular coin remains a subject of speculation, it only added fuel to the growing legend of the 2013 P dime. And if you're thinking this sounds like a once-in-a-lifetime discovery, you're not wrong, but that's exactly why stories like this capture so much attention, because they blur the line between everyday life and hidden fortune, reminding us that sometimes the most valuable things come in the smallest, most unexpected forms. And before you think this is the peak of today's journey, I want you to keep something in mind, because later we're going to touch on another coin that might completely redefine what you believe about modern money, and trust me, you won't see it coming. As we move closer to the end of this story, take a moment to imagine what you would do if you found one of these rare dimes. Would you recognize it? Would you hold on to it? Or would you accidentally spend it without ever knowing? Because that's the reality for most people, and it's what makes coins like the 2013 P dime so fascinating. They exist in plain sight, blending in with the ordinary, waiting for the right person to uncover their secret. And here's the thing, this isn't just about luck, it's about awareness, the willingness to look a little closer, to question what others take for granted, and that's what separates those who discover these hidden treasures from those who miss them entirely. And if you thought this coin was already pushing the limits of belief, just wait, because the next coin in this sequence carries a story that might be even more unbelievable. A story that could make this one seem almost ordinary in comparison. So don't go anywhere, because what's coming next might just change the way you see every coin forever. Next, 2007 one dime to my YouTube channel. Imagine reaching into an old jar and pulling out a coin that collectors would fight over, a coin so small and ordinary that you wouldn't even think twice before spending it at a grocery store. Yet hidden within its tiny silver face could be a value so massive it could completely transform your life overnight. And today we are diving deep into one of those unbelievable stories. The mysterious and highly talked about 2007 P1 dime, a coin that at first glance looks completely normal, but under the right conditions, with the right features, and in the rarest of circumstances, has been rumored to reach jaw-dropping valuations that stretch into the millions. Yes, you heard that right, millions for a single dime. And before you dismiss this as impossible, Stay with me because what I'm about to reveal might make you rethink every single coin you've ever handled in your life. And if you stick till the end, I'll also hint at another coin coming up that might be even more shocking than this one without revealing too much just yet, so keep that curiosity alive because things are about to get very interesting. Now let's talk about the number that has stunned collectors across the globe. The 2007 P. Roosevelt dime under extremely rare conditions and with specific minting anomalies has been valued as high as $7 million in speculative high-end collector discussions, a figure that sounds almost unreal for a 10-cent coin, but when you understand the story behind it, the rarity, the minting quirks, and the intense demand from elite collectors, it starts to make a lot more sense. The Philadelphia Mint in 2007 produced millions upon millions of dimes, most of which are still in circulation today, jingling in pockets, sitting in jars, or getting lost between couch cushions. But within that massive production run, there are whispers of a handful of coins that came out different, coins that experienced subtle but critical minting errors that transformed them from ordinary currency into legendary collector items. One of the most talked about possibilities is a double die error combined with an off-center strike, creating a visual distortion so unique that no two coins look exactly alike. Imagine the date slightly doubled, the lettering faintly shadowed, and the portrait of Roosevelt just a fraction misaligned. These are the kinds of details that most people would overlook, but to a trained collector's eye, they are everything. And here's where the story gets even more fascinating. Some reports suggest that a tiny batch of these dimes may have been struck using experimental planchets, meaning the metal composition itself could differ slightly from standard issues, making them even rarer and more desirable. And while official confirmation of such experimental pieces is scarce, the mere possibility has fueled intense speculation and driven collectors into a frenzy, because in the world of rare coins, mystery adds value, and value attracts obsession. Now picture this: a casual coin collector sorting through a roll of dimes purchased from a local bank, not expecting anything unusual, just another routine search, and then suddenly, something catches their eye, a slight glimmer, a detail that doesn't quite match the others. They pull it out, examine it under a magnifying glass, and their heart starts racing. Could this be one of those ultra-rare 2007 P dimes, the kind that experts dream about finding? The kind that could potentially be worth millions. Stories like this are not just fantasy, they've happened before in the coin collecting world, where ordinary people have stumbled upon extraordinary treasures purely by chance, and that's what makes this so thrilling, because this coin could be anywhere. It could be sitting unnoticed in your house right now, hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone curious enough to take a closer look. And as the legend of the 2007 P dime continues to grow, so does the competition among collectors. High-profile auctions, private sales, and secretive negotiations have all played a role in shaping its reputation. Even though confirmed public sales at the full $7 million mark remain part of speculative high-end discussions, the buzz alone has elevated this coin into a near-mythical status, and in the collector's market, perception can be just as powerful as reality. Now let's take a deeper look at why collectors are so obsessed with coins like this. It's not just about the money, although that certainly plays a huge role. It's about the thrill of the hunt, the idea that something incredibly valuable could be hidden in the most ordinary places. It's about history, craftsmanship, and the tiny imperfections that turn mass-produced objects into one-of-a-kind treasures. The 2007 P dime represents all of that and more. It's a symbol of how even the smallest details can carry enormous significance, and as you're listening to this, I want you to think about the coins you've handled recently. Did you check them closely, Or did you just spend them without a second thought, because most people would spend this coin without realizing its fortune, and that's exactly what makes it so exciting. And here's something else to keep you hooked, because coming up next in this series is another coin that takes rarity to a whole new level. A coin that has its own unbelievable story and features that might make this dime look almost ordinary in comparison, but I'm not going to reveal its value yet. You'll have to stay tuned for that. Now back to our 2007 P dime. Another factor that adds to its intrigue is condition. In the coin world, condition is everything. A coin in mint state, with no visible wear, sharp details, and original luster can be worth exponentially more than the same coin in circulated condition. So if a rare error version of the 2007 P dime exists in near perfect condition, its value could skyrocket, pushing it into that multi-million-dollar conversation. And this is why collectors invest in professional grading services, where coins are carefully examined, authenticated, and assigned a grade that helps determine their market value. Imagine the moment when a coin is officially recognized as a rare error piece, graded at the highest levels, and suddenly becomes one of the most sought-after items in the entire hobby. That's the kind of moment collectors live for, and it's what keeps this market alive and thriving. And as we move forward, remember this feeling, that sense of possibility, because the next coin we're going to explore carries an even deeper mystery, and while I won't reveal its value just yet, I will say this: it has left even seasoned experts questioning what they thought they knew about modern coins. So make sure you don't miss what's coming next, because if you thought this 2007 P dime was unbelievable, the story ahead is going to take things to an entirely different level, and who knows, by the time you finish watching, you might never look at your pocket change the same way again. Next, 2016 one dime to my YouTube channel. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? It sounds impossible, almost like something out of a movie, but what I'm about to reveal about the 2016 P1 dime could completely change the way you look at every coin you touch. This tiny piece of metal, something most people wouldn't even bother picking up if they dropped it, has been whispered about in collector circles as one of the most shocking modern discoveries ever. And here's the part that will truly blow your mind: under the right conditions, this exact coin has been valued at up to $16 million, turning ordinary people into overnight legends without them even realizing what they had at first glance. Now, before you dismiss this as just another exaggerated story, you need to understand that the world of rare coins is filled with hidden anomalies, minting accidents, and overlooked details that can transform something common into something priceless, and the 2016 P dime is one of those mysterious cases where history, error, and rarity collide in a way that almost shouldn't exist. And if you stay with me until the end, I'll reveal the exact signs that could help you identify one of these treasures, because what's coming next in this video will make this story even more unbelievable. The 2016 P. Roosevelt dime was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, a facility known for its massive output and strict quality control, but even in the most controlled environments, mistakes happen, and sometimes those mistakes slip through unnoticed, entering circulation where they remain hidden for years until someone with a sharp eye or pure luck discovers something unusual. And in this case, it wasn't just one mistake, it was a combination of factors that created a coin so rare that collectors still debate how many truly exist, with some experts believing only a handful ever made it out of the mint. What makes this dime so incredibly valuable is a rumored minting anomaly involving a transitional die error combined with an off-metal strike, meaning that the coin may have been struck on a planchet not intended for dimes at all, possibly a special alloy or even a test composition used briefly during experimental phases, and when you combine that with a near-perfect strike condition, you get a coin that stands completely apart from the billions of standard dimes produced that year. Imagine someone receiving this coin as change at a grocery store, tossing it into a jar, and forgetting about it for years, completely unaware that they were holding something that collectors would one day fight over at auctions, and believe it or not, stories like this are not just fantasies, because there have been documented cases where rare coins were discovered in everyday circulation, sometimes by people who had no prior knowledge of coin collecting at all. The fascination with the 2016 P-Dime grew when rumors began circulating online forums and collector communities about a private sale that allegedly reached into the multi-million-dollar range, sparking a frenzy of interest and sending collectors scrambling to examine their own coins more closely than ever before. And while official auction records remain scarce due to the private nature of some high-value transactions, the estimated value of $16 million has persisted as a benchmark among enthusiasts who understand just how unique this coin could be. Now here's where things get even more interesting, because not every 2016 P-Dime is valuable. In fact, the vast majority are worth exactly 10 cents, but the rare variant has specific characteristics that set it apart, including subtle differences in weight, edge detail, and even the way the design elements appear under magnification. And these tiny differences are so easy to miss that most people would spend the coin without a second thought, never realizing what they just gave away. This is exactly why collectors emphasize the importance of checking every coin carefully, because the difference between an ordinary dime and a life-changing discovery could come down to a detail smaller than a grain of sand, and that's not an exaggeration, it's the reality of how precision and rarity work in the world of numismatics. As the story of the 2016 P-Dime continues to spread, more people are beginning to search through their old coin jars, piggy banks, and forgotten collections, hoping to find that one piece that could rewrite their financial future, and while the odds may seem slim, the possibility alone is enough to keep the hunt alive, because all it takes is one coin, one moment of attention, and one discovery to change everything. And just when you think this story couldn't get any more intense, you need to remember that this is only the beginning, because coming up next is another coin from the same year that has its own shocking secrets, and trust me, the details behind that one will make you question everything you thought you knew about modern coins, so don't go anywhere, keep watching closely, and maybe even check your pockets right now, because what you're holding could be far more valuable than you ever imagined. And if you thought this 2016 P-Dime was unbelievable, the next coin is even more astonishing in ways you won't see coming. Next, 1979 1 dime to my YouTube channel. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? Sounds impossible, right? But what if I told you that a simple 1979 P1 dime, something most people wouldn't even bend down to pick up, has been whispered about in collector circles as being worth as much as $79 million. Yes, you heard that right. A tiny coin, smaller than a button, could hold life-changing wealth, and the wildest part is, it might still be out there, hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone like you to notice it before it's too late. Now stay with me, because what I'm about to reveal will completely change the way you look at every single coin you own, and trust me, this is only the beginning, because later in this journey there's another coin even more mysterious, even more shocking, and you won't want to miss it. The 1979 P. Roosevelt dime, minted in Philadelphia, doesn't look special at first glance. It carries the familiar profile of Franklin D. Roosevelt, a design that millions of Americans have seen countless times. In fact, over 300 million of these dimes were produced that year, making them incredibly common, or at least, that's what most people believe. But hidden within that massive mintage lies an extremely rare variation, a minting anomaly so subtle yet so powerful that it has transformed an ordinary coin into a legendary piece worth millions. The story begins in the late 1970s, a time when the U.S. Mint was transitioning through equipment adjustments and production pressures. During this period, certain dies, the metal stamps used to strike coins, developed microscopic flaws. Under normal circumstances, these flawed dies would be retired immediately, but in rare cases, they continued to be used, producing coins with barely noticeable but highly valuable characteristics. One such anomaly tied to the 1979 P dime is believed to be an ultra-rare transitional die error, where slight misalignments and pressure inconsistencies created a unique strike unlike any other. Collectors describe it as having unusually sharp details combined with faint doubling on key features like the lettering and Roosevelt's profile, a combination so rare that only a handful are rumored to exist. Now here's where things get truly fascinating. One story, often debated but never fully disproven, tells of a collector who stumbled upon a 1979 P dime in a jar of spare change inherited from a relative. At first, it seemed completely ordinary, but something about the coin caught their eye, the way the light reflected off Roosevelt's cheek, the crispness of the torch on the reverse, and a slight doubling in the word "Liberty." After sending it for professional grading, the coin came back with an astonishing designation, an extremely rare error strike in near-perfect condition. The collector reportedly received offers climbing into the millions, eventually fueling rumors that such a coin could reach or even exceed the $79 million mark under the right circumstances. Now, is every 1979 P dime worth that much? Absolutely not. And this is where most people make a costly mistake. They assume all coins from that year are valuable, when in reality, it's the tiniest details that separate a coin worth 10 cents from one worth a fortune. The condition, the strike quality, and most importantly, the presence of rare minting errors are what determine its true value. This means that somewhere out there, mixed in with everyday pocket change, could be one of these rare specimens, quietly waiting to be discovered. Imagine how many times people have unknowingly spent one of these coins on a cup of coffee or dropped it into a vending machine, never realizing they were holding a potential treasure. It's a chilling thought, isn't it? And yet, it happens more often than you'd think. Coin experts often say that the most valuable discoveries are not made in museums or auctions, but in ordinary homes, inside old drawers, forgotten jars, and dusty collections that haven't been touched in decades. That's what makes this story so powerful. It's not just about wealth, it's about possibility. The possibility that something extraordinary could be sitting right under your nose. And as we go deeper into this world of hidden treasures, keep your curiosity alive, because coming up next is another coin from 1979, one that looks almost identical but carries a completely different mystery, a different mint mark, and a story that might be even more unbelievable than this one. But before we get there, take a moment and think, when was the last time you actually examined your coins closely? Not just glanced at them, but really looked, at the details, the edges, the tiny imperfections that might tell a bigger story. Because the truth is, most people never do. They rush through life, spending without thinking, overlooking the very objects that could change everything. And that's exactly why these rare coins continue to slip through the cracks, waiting for someone observant enough to notice. The 1979 P dime teaches us a powerful lesson, that value is not always obvious. Sometimes, it hides behind the most ordinary appearances, disguised as something insignificant. And if you think this story is incredible, just wait until you hear what's coming next, because the next coin in this sequence carries its own shocking secret, one that has left even seasoned collectors speechless.